Yo, what is going on, you plebs? It is your boy, Mr. Plebe. Welcome back to another brand new Call of Duty Black Ops 3 video. Today in this video, I'm going to be doing a class setup for competitive Black Ops 3 Call of Duty, and it is basically viable to be used in all game battles, UMG, and arena game modes. Let's jump right into the video. So, just like the last pub stomping class, usually I do not actually use Profit. I'd probably use Profit with Glitch if you know how to use it properly, and I would use it in the game mode Search and Destroy. Besides that, most of the time, you're going to want to use Overdrive if possible at all for uplink if you're the main OBJ carrier, sometimes even CTF. It is very, very viable and really, really effective to go through really fast. You can also use it in S&D to rush certain areas on the map way before anyone else. For fringe S&D, for instance, on the defending side, you can use Overdrive right at the beginning of the round, make it all the way past A-bomb into the enemy's side of A, and usually you pick up a double kill in that position. It's really good to use for that. The other thing, Vision Pulse, I do believe is banned, as far as I know. The Sparrow class, again, if you know how to use it, you can definitely pick up some kills. It's good for hard points, because you can shoot the bolt from a distance into the hard point and usually pick up some enemies, or at least hurt enemies for when your teammates crash the hill. You're definitely going to pick up a kill or two. Again, Glitch for S&D, if you know how to use it properly, by properly, I mean you know how to use it, then you definitely should be using it. Especially sometimes in 1v1 situations, you have clutch moments where you pop the Glitch out, you spawn a few feet behind them, and then you end up picking up the kill and winning the round. The next one is War Machine. I definitely recommend using this one for hardpoint if you haven't yet. Basically, if you're the only one in the hill, or if you're looking to break hills, you can pump this one into basically any hill really and kill a lot of enemies, or at least weaken your enemies so when your teammates or yourself crash the hill after throwing your stuns in and such, then it's really you win the hill at that point. The Annihilator class, again, as long as you can get your shots off, then it's definitely viable. It's really good to use as well. That being said, if you're not one that's really accurate to an extent, if you've tried it on pubs and you're not really good with it, I probably wouldn't use it, but I find it's really good as long as you can land your shots and pop your shots off. Maybe get behind cover, pop a shot behind cover, things like that. It's kind of one of those things. Rejack is banned. Hive wouldn't use it all. It's awful. The other thing that I find that really helps a lot that I like to use is this Scythe or Scythe class. This thing is a minigun on your hand, as most of you may know. It is really, really, really good, especially for hardpoint. Usually I would try to use this one on hardpoint, because usually hardpoint's one of my best game modes, and usually when it comes down to hardpoint, I'm playing OBJ, so people always get into the hill and picking up the kill, and then I'm getting the points for the hill as well, the kills. So usually by the time we go into the second rotation, I'm fully streaked up, and I've had about 2 of these. And let's put it this way, if you're inside of the hill and you're picking enemies off from a distance, because this thing has really good range and it's very accurate, and it's like a 3-barreled minigun on your hand, I definitely recommend using this, because they're not getting into that hill anyways. Ripper on the Spectre, definitely not. Don't ever use it. It is really, really bad. It basically, you have to hit B after you hit LB and RB, and it really only has about 1 melee from a different range, so it's kind of like Commando Pro, but 1 use. Active Camo, that's actually pretty good to use. Just like in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare for competitive and game battles and such, and that it's kind of like the invisibility perk, or the invisibility that you could use in that game. People used to use Cloak and Stim, that's what it was called, for the exo abilities, and kind of reminds me of that, so it's kind of good to use at the same time. Really depends. I kind of go with the Scythe or the War Machine personally. Purifier and Heatwave, I honestly wouldn't use it all. I don't find them very good at all. That is the specialist breakdown for competitive. Now we're going to break into competitive guns. So first I'm going to start with is the VMP. I find this gun is a very, very good gun. Like, if you've watched my pub stomping video, this gun is definitely a tier 1 weapon. It is probably the best gun in the game. You're going to want to throw quick draw grip and long barrel on this bad boy, primary gunfighter #1. And you might even also want to pull out the perk greed 1. Usually what you want to use is Blackjack. That's really all you need. I use fast hands. A lot of people can kind of fight that and say that they don't like to use it. The other thing would be hardwire. If you find that your EMP grenades, smoke screens, things like that, most of the time you really don't need it. Other than that, you just want to use fast hands. And let's say if we're playing hardpoint or something like that, then usually what I would do is probably just use tactical mass. Besides that, there's nothing else really to use at this point. I'd probably do like 1 stun, 1 nade, or even double stuns possibly. It really just depends. Usually in this game, I'm not really kind of a guy that uses nades and stuns in this game very much. I usually just run one concussion grenade just to stun check before I push somewheres, things like that. And this is kind of like a hardpoint CTF uplink class. Some people, if they're using Ruin for overdrive, will use overclock because that makes it so you get your overdrive a lot faster, which kind of creates more chances for you to get points in uplink. But besides that, you just want to roll flak jacket for the most part. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna just copy this one down to the rest of them here. So just give me 1 second, then we're gonna continue on because this is still going. The other gun basically is the Vesper. I find the Vesper is, again, very viable. I don't know if you guys have been watching any pros or anything or play much game battles yourself. This seems to be a gun that everyone's been using. Again, you can usually either throw on quick draw and grip 100% of the time, and then usually extended mags just because, again, it's like the Scorpion. It's a melt machine, and you basically need extended mags on this thing or you're not going to get a kill. The other thing you can do, too, is throw on long barrel if you please. Most of the time, again, I'll be using concussion. Otherwise, what I would do is depending on the situation, I mean, if someone is having an EMP class, sometimes even trophies are good if you're on the hill playing OBJ. Other times for breaking hills, you might need a nade. Now, I find nades in this game not very viable, especially because everyone runs flak jackets. So at the same time, it doesn't really make sense to be running flak jacket, but you know, some people are going to be using nades. So flak jacket 90% of the time. With concussion, trophy system, EMP, it really depends on what you're playing. Also, say if you're going to be playing SND, for instance, I would probably go up here. I would take tac mask off, and I would throw on dead silence, sometimes even dead silence blast suppressor. Me and blast suppressor, I don't find you really see those signatures on the mini map from the thrust jumps very much anyways. It's so faint, it's not enough like Call of Duty Advanced Warfare where I'd look at the mini map and then go kill someone from it. Besides that, it's not really noticeable. So I'd probably just run flak jacket, fast hands, and dead silence. That's just me again. At the same time, even up here, you can probably put an extended mag on. I usually run long barrel, grip, and quick draw. Even in S&D, you might want to throw stun. You might want to frag. Sometimes, say if you're posting up on a bomb with an M8, just like Black Ops 2, you might want to even throw a trophy system down so you don't get naded, depending on the size of the map. Besides that, we're going to go down to the next one. The next one here that I'm going to throw up is the Shiva. This gun is an absolute melt machine. It is literally a tier 1 god gun. On this bad boy, you're going to want the quick draw grip, and you're going to want to be using rapid fire. Sometimes you might even want to take this stun off completely, and you might even want to use, let's say, long barrel. Most definitely long barrel, I mean increased range, or you might even want to throw on that red dot and then not even use basically any other kind of grenades or anything like that. It really just depends at this point on your preference. Sometimes even reflex you'll take. I think you really need rapid fire though. It kind of shoots a little bit slow. It's not really 100% needed, so you could just throw on the long barrel, or you could throw on the red dot. And this gun is a 2-shot kill, if you remember. So this gun, really, really good. It's probably going to get banned at some point competitive-wise. No one really knows about the ban and pick stuff that's kind of going in and what's going on there, in a sense. So it really does depend. Even in hardpoint and such, you might want to run double nades. Kind of everything's not really situational. I don't find nades are really a big deal in this game competitive-wise. It's more of kind of just posting up and hard aiming everything at that point, and usually that works, at least from what I've found. The other thing, I used to like the Man of War a lot. I find there's a little problem with it based on how it went from the beta until now. Same with the M8. The M8 that it's like now is kind of like an unnerfed M8. If you guys remember in the beta, it was too good. They had a little patch overnight. It made it so the M8 A7 was kind of patched in a sense that it wasn't as strong. I think they tweaked the fire rate and they tweaked the damage. This game right now, it seems as if it got unpatched between the beta patch and now in the game release. So the M8's again really good gun. I would definitely use it in competitive Call of Duty. Again, I'd throw quick draw and grip. You can use stock. I don't find the stock really does anything in this game. You definitely don't need long barrel. So this would kind of be my S&D class, maybe 2 stuns, 1 stun. Again, you could throw blast suppressor on if you want. Dead silence is definitely a must. And then if I were playing hardpoint, that would kind of be like this: tactical mass, 2 stuns. either 2 trophies, 1 trophy and a nade. It really depends. You gotta play around with it. This game's more about the guns and posting up, like I said, anyways. So the other assault rifle that I would definitely use and I think is very viable is the XR2. This gun, again, tier 1 god gun. Gonna use grip, quick draw as always. We're gonna throw this on. My bad. We're gonna put the grip up here, and you want to be using the rapid fire. Take this off, and this is, I'm making an S&D class right now, so dead silence, blackjack, and fast hands, and maybe even a red dot as well. Otherwise you can take that off. You can use 1 nade. If you're posting up on S&D, then you can use a trophy in the nade. It really depends. You can use 2 trophies depending on what kind of cheese the team is. Most of the time you can kind of tell, and I will, you know, adjust my classes between different maps, stuff like that. Otherwise it kind of goes the same as it's been. Blackjack and fast hands, tactical mask for hard point. You can run a stun to stun check. You can put a red dot on as well with these. It's really all up to preference, but those are basically my classes. Other than that, the only one I want to show you guys is what I use for my sniper overkill class. And I use sniper overkill a lot just because from back at my sniping days, sniping was basically my thing. And in every Call of Duty I usually run overkill and S&D just because I don't want to say I'm a god, but I kind of am when it comes to sniping. So usually what I would use is I would use the I actually have a black market camo transgression. Look at that, it looks really cool. So usually what I would use is SVG 100 and either the VMP, or you could even throw on an assault rifle. You could double it up with like the XR2 or the M8. Most of the time I'd run subs, so I'd be using the VMP and the SVG 100. Now on the SVG 100, most of the time I take off the 3 attachments for my primary. I'll just run quick draw and grip because I like using the thermal sight in this game. Again, sometimes for S&D, smoke screen's even good. Now, the smoke screen's actually a really OP thing in this game. It's really good to use a lot of the time. Kind of, again, situational based. It really depends, but that's kind of the class I would use. Otherwise, that is basically it, guys. So hopefully you guys found this a little bit helpful. These are kind of the classes and specialists that I would use for competitive Call of Duty in Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Hopefully you learned something from this, especially if you did enjoy. Make sure to smack that like button down below and show your support. Leave me some comments letting me know your guys' favorite class setups for competitive. If not, then feel free to try some of these out. Let me know how you do. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. This has been another Black Ops 3 video by your boy, Mr. Plebe. Subscribe today to join the pleb army. And guys, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you plebs in the next video. See you later, guys, in later days. Something off, etc., etc. So next gun up is the VMP. This gun is the best gun in the game, definitely the best SMG. Once you get your attachments on it, you are literally a force to be reckoned with. For the attachments, I put on quick draw, grip, and then I also put on a 3rd attachment, which is the long barrel.